A very good morning, my dear students. In today's lecture, we will mainly concentrate on discussing master slave JK flip flop and also D flip flop and T flip flop, delay flip flop and toggle flip flop. In the previous lecture, we have mainly discussed about the circuit diagram, working and truth table of JK flip flop, and also we have seen the problem that is arised in the functioning of JK flip flop when J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, that is a race around condition. So in order to avoid this race around condition, we will be shifting from JK flip flop to master slave JK flip flop. So in today's lecture, we will mainly concentrate on discussing master slave JK flip flop and D flip flop and toggle flip flop. Upon completion of this lecture, you will be able to know the circuit diagram of master slave JK flip flop and also its working, and delay and toggle flip flops, and also applications of flip flops and registers. Okay. In the previous lectures, we have seen what is a flip flop. Flip flop is a 1-bit storage element. Types of flip flops are, what are the types of flip flops? RS flip flop, JK flip flop, delay flip flop, and toggle flip flop. So these are the different types of flip flops we have seen, and in the previous lectures we have seen RS flip flop, clocked RS flip flop, and also about JK flip flop also we have seen in the previous lectures. In today's lecture, we will mainly concentrate on discussing the master slave JK flip flop. Before that, we will see what is this race around condition, which we have seen already in the previous lecture. In JK flip flop, if J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, and if Q is equal to 0 initially, that means previous output state is 0, and when the clock pulse is applied, then Q becomes 1. Then this change takes place after the time interval delta t, and this delta t you are calling it as propagation delay. This delta t you are calling it as propagation delay. Propagation delay is defined as the time taken by the signal to travel from the input side to the output side and to produce the output. Okay, so for the output to change from 0 to 1 as and when the inputs are applied and clock pulse is applied, then it will be taking this much of time, that is delta t, which is nothing but propagation delay of that flip flop. So delta t is the propagation delay, and now J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1, and Q is equal to 1 after delta t, and if the clock pulse is still present, then Q changes back to 0, because for J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, what is the operation of JK flip flop? The output will be toggle. That means previously if the output is 0, it becomes 1. If the output is 1, it becomes 0, even if the clock pulse is still present. When J is equal to 1, K is equal to 1, and Q is equal to 1, and if the clock pulse is still present, then Q becomes again back to 0. So for the duration of TP stands for the duration for which the clock pulse is high. TP stands for the duration for which the clock pulse is high. So for the duration TP of clock pulse, the output will oscillate between 0 and 1. The output will oscillate between 0 and 1. It is because TP is greater than delta t. It is because TP is greater than delta t. So this is the main what you can say condition for having the race around problem. So in order to avoid that, you need to take care of this. Instead of greater than, it should be less than. So the time for which the clock pulse is high should be less than propagation delay of the flip flop. So output Q is ambiguous. This situation is called race around condition, and race around condition is avoided if TP is less than propagation delay of the flip flop, where TP stands for the time for which the clock pulse is high, the time duration for which the clock pulse is high. Excuse me. So race around condition is avoided if the duration for which the clock pulse is high should be less than propagation delay of the flip flop. So in order to avoid this race around condition in JK flip flop, we will be moving from JK flip flop to master slave JK flip flop in order to avoid this problem. So this is the basic circuit diagram of master slave JK flip flop, in which two JK flip flops are used. First JK flip flop is used as master, and second JK flip flop is used as slave. And if you observe the clock pulse for the two flip-flops, for master flip-flop you are directly applying the clock like this, and for the slave flip-flop you are applying the complement of the clock. You are applying the clock complement of the clock. That means if you observe, let us say if clock is equal to 1 here for the master flip-flop, that means there is no clock for slave flip-flop. That means at a time only one flip-flop will be active. At a time only one flip-flop will be active. That is the basic operation of master slave JK flip-flop. So whenever master is active, what will happen? It will be receiving the inputs J and K inputs, and correspondingly it will be producing the outputs. It will be producing the outputs. Let us say QM and QM bar are the outputs of master flip-flop. QM and QM bar. So when slave will be active? When clock becomes 0. When clock becomes 0, so the clock for the slave flip-flop will become 1, so that now whatever QM and QM bar will be there, that will be acting as inputs to the slave flip-flop after its activation with respect to the clock, and it follows, it simply produces the output QM and QM bar. Okay, so that means whenever clock is 1, then master will be active and slave will be inactive. Whenever clock is 0, then master will be inactive and slave will be active. So at a time, either of the flip-flops, either master flip-flop or slave flip-flop will be active. So depending on that, you will be getting the output correspondingly. We will see the further. So this circuit will be avoids the race around condition problem. So if you observe the internal circuit diagram of master slave JK flip-flop, it looks like this. So this is a simple master flip-flop, and this is slave flip-flop. This is master flip-flop, which is nothing but a JK flip-flop, and it is a slave flip-flop. Are you understanding? Okay, so this is master flip-flop and this is slave flip-flop. For the master flip-flop you are applying the inputs, and for the slave flip-flop, what are the inputs? It is nothing but the output of the master flip-flop. Output of the master flip-flop will be acting as input to the slave flip-flop, in addition to the clock signal, in addition to the clock signal, in addition to the complement of the clock signal. If clock is applied as input to the first master flip-flop, then the complement of the clock will be applied as input to the slave flip-flop, so that whenever master is active, that means whenever clock is equal to 1, then master will be active and slave will be inactive, because since clock is since you are applying clock 1 here, the output of 9th 98 will be 0. So the clock, since clock is not applied to the slave flip-flop, it is inactive. So whenever master is active, slave will be inactive, and whenever clock is equal to 0, then master will be inactive and slave will become active, so that it will be producing the outputs corresponding to the inputs, So this is the truth table of what you can say, master slave JK flip-flop. Whenever J is equal to 0 and K is equal to 0, and when clock is there, then Qn plus 1 will become Q0 and Qn plus 1 bar will become Q0 bar. No change. Same, the truth table of JK flip-flop is equal to the truth table of master slave JK flip-flop, except the clock pulse, So for a JK flip-flop, as and when you are applying the clock signal, it will be producing the output. But for master slave JK flip-flop, as and when the entire clock pulse is applied, then only you will be able to get the corresponding output for different input combinations. Okay, that means it will be increasing the clock pulse. It will not increase the clock pulse, but it is increasing the propagation delay of the flip-flop overall. It will be increasing the propagation delay of the flip-flop. So this is the condition for getting the what you can call race around problem. So in order to avoid that, TP should be less than delta T. So this can be achieved when you can able to increase the delta T value. Delta T is nothing but propagation delay of the flip-flop. So you should increase the value of delta T. You should increase the value of delta T in such a way that it becomes less than delta t. It becomes less than delta t. So that delta t becomes more compared to the clock pulse, compared to the TP. So that is the main idea of using master slave JK flip flop. So since clock pulse is applied, complementary clock pulse is applied to both master and slave JK flip flops. What will happen? The duration for which the input is traveling to the output will increase. That means propagation delay will be increasing. So that overall this condition will be satisfied and this condition will not satisfy with the help of master slave JK flip flop. So the truth table of JK flip flop as well as master slave JK flip flop will be same, will be similar, but what is the condition here? Master slave JK flip flop should satisfy this condition. The time for which the clock pulse is high should be less than propagation delay of the flip flop, should be less than propagation delay of the flip flop, and this can be achieved by increasing the propagation delay. This can be achieved by increasing the propagation delay. Propagation delay is nothing but the time taken by the circuit to produce the output after the application of the input. So that time taken by the output of any flip-flop circuit to produce its output for a given input will be called as propagation delay, that you are increasing, in which such that the time for which the clock pulse is high should be less than propagation delay of the flip-flop. Okay. So you should design the master slave JK flip flop in such a way that this condition has to be satisfied. TP, time for which the clock pulse is high, should be less than propagation delay of the flip flop. Okay. So this is something about master slave JK flip flop. We will also see its operation. Whenever the clock is high, master is active, as I told earlier. Whenever the clock is high, the master will be active and slave will be inactive. The outputs QM and QM bar responds to the J and K input. So QM and QM bar are nothing but the outputs of master flip flop. Outputs of master flip flop, and it will be produced based on the J and K inputs you are giving. And at the same time, whenever clock is high, slave is inactive and its output remains in previous state only. So slave receives the complement of the clock. That means clock is 0 for slave. That's why slave is inactive and its output will be equal to the previous state only. Whatever the previous state is there at the slave output, that will be followed whenever clock is high. Okay. And whenever clock is low, what will happen? Master is inactive and slave is active, because now its clock is high. So slave clock is high whenever clock is low, because complement of the clock is applied as clock signal to the slave flip flop, so that whenever clock is low, master will become inactive and slave will become active. So that what will happen, the output Q and Q bar follow the outputs QM and QM bar respectively. The output Q and Q bar of the slave flip flop follows the outputs QM and QM bar of the JK flip flop respectively. And since the second flip flop simply follow the first, it is referred as slave and the first one as the master. So since the second flip flop simply follows the first inputs, the output of first flip flop, the second flip flop output simply follows the output of first flip flop, it is referred as slave. That's why second flip flop is called as slave and the first flip flop is called as master. So hence the name master slave JK flip flop. So the type of flip flops used in master slave flip flop is JK flip flops only. That's why it is called master slave JK flip flop. Next we will move on to the discussion of D flip flop. So D flip flop has only one input, that is delay input. Use of D flip flop is mainly used to store the information. The output Q follows the input D after one clock pulse, and the output expression for the D flip flop is Q is equal to D. The output expression for the D flip flop is Q is equal to D and Q bar is equal to D bar. Q bar is equal to D bar. So if you observe the operation of delay flip flop, the present output of D flip flop is independent of its previous output. Remember this, the present output of D flip flop is independent of its previous output, and it is dependent on only present input, remember. So this is the implementation or circuit diagram of D flip flop with the help of SR flip flop. If you take the SR flip flop like this, and you are giving D input to the S input of SR flip flop and its complement to the R input, so that this becomes the D flip flop. So overall you can draw the block diagram of the D flip flop like this. You are applying the D input here, you are applying the clock here, so that you will be getting the complementary outputs Q and Q bar. So this is the logic symbol. D stands for data or delay flip flop, and Q output, complementary output, and clock. So this is the input, this is the input pin, and these are the output pins, and this is the clock signal. Okay, so this is how you can able to implement the D flip flop with the help of SR flip flop. You can able to implement the D flip flop with the help of SR flip flop. Okay, so simply by connecting D input as S, that means by connecting S is equal to D and R is equal to D bar, by connecting S is equal to D and R is equal to D bar, you can able to construct a D flip flop. Or instead of using SR flip flop, you can also use JK flip flop also. That means, for example, let us say this is the JK flip flop, this is J input, this is K input, anyhow clock will be there, and let us say this is Q and this is Q bar. So let us say this is JK flip flop and I am applying D input to the J input and its complement to the K, so that this also becomes a simple D flip flop. Are you understanding? So you can able to implement D flip flop either with the help of SR flip flop or with the help of JK flip flop, anything is same. Now I am considering the implementation of D flip flop with the help of SR flip flop. So by connecting S is equal to D and R is equal to D bar, you can able to implement the D flip flop. So this is the condition expression for conversion of SR flip flop into D flip flop. So this is the circuit diagram using of D flip flop using SR flip flop, and this is the block diagram, and this is the logic symbol of D flip flop. Next we will see the truth table. Previous lecture itself, in previous slide we will see the truth table. So since there is only one input, let us assume D is equal to 0 first. Whenever D is equal to 0, that means the SR flip flop will be having the inputs of S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. So for S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1, the output Q will be equal to 0 and Q bar will be equal to 1. That means whenever D input is 0 and if clock is applied, then output Q will be equal to 0 and its complement will be equal to 1. That means whatever the input you are applying, that will be reflected at the output. Whatever the D input you are applying here, that will be reflected in the output. Similarly, if D is equal to 1, that means internally the inputs for S and R will be, S will be equal to 1 and R will be equal to 0. So for S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, what will be the output? Q will be 1 and Q bar will be 0. That means if D is 1 and if clock is equal to 1, then Q will be equal to 1 and Q bar will be equal to 0. Again, whatever the input you are applying at the D input, that will be reflected at the output of the D flip flop. That's why D flip flop is used to store the information, or you can also call the D flip flop as delay flip flop or data flip flop. Anything is same. Okay, so whatever the input you are applying, whenever clock is equal to 1 and the output of the D flip flop follows the input, that is the meaning. So whenever clock is equal to 1, if D is 0, then present output will be 0. If D is 1, then present output will be 1. And if clock is equal to 0, irrespective of the D input, output Qn plus 1 will be equal to Qn. No change in the output state whenever clock is equal to 0. Again, same, clock is nothing but the enable pin for any flip flop. Whenever clock is equal to 0, the flip flop is not enabled, so the output will be equal to, present output will be equal to its previous output. And when clock is equal to 1, then the present output depends upon the inputs. If you observe, whenever clock is equal to 1, the present output depends only on the present inputs. The present output doesn't depends upon previous outputs. Remember this, in the case of D flip flop, the present output only depends upon the present inputs and it does not depends upon the previous outputs. It doesn't depends upon the previous output. That's why Qn plus 1 is equal to D only. It is not a function of what, qn. It is not a function of qn, which is nothing but previous output. So present output will be equal to present input. That means present output will be equal to present input only. Present output will be equal to only present input, and it is independent of previous output, and it is independent of previous output. Remember this in the case of for the D flip-flop. D flip-flop is an important flip-flop which is used in the applications of registers and counters, which is mainly used in the D flip-flop is used in the applications of registers like shift left register, shift right register, universal shift register. All those things will be using the D flip-flop as the basic building block. So for the construction or the designing of any registers, we will be using this D flip-flop as the basic building block. Okay. So this is the logic circuit of D flip-flop. You already know that this is SR flip-flop. Okay. So to the SR flip-flop, if S is equal to D and R is equal to D bar, then that circuit becomes the logic circuit of D flip-flop. Okay, that means you are restricting the SR flip-flop to only two combinations of inputs, that is S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1 when D is equal to 0. Similarly S is equal to 1, similarly when D is equal to 1, so S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. So that means you are restricting the input combinations of SR flip-flop to only two. You are restricting the input combinations of SR flip-flop only to two input combinations. Since SR flip-flop has two inputs, you can have four maximum combinations. Out of those four, you will be using only two for the realization of D flip-flop. That is S is equal to 0, R is equal to 1, and S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. That is the difference. Okay, so this is the simple logic circuit of D flip-flop. Even you can also analyze the same thing. When D is equal to 0, that means S is equal to 0, R will be equal to 1. So whenever one of the input of the, let us say this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. So whenever one of the input of the first NAND gate is 0, then the output will become 1. Similarly, whenever this is clock is equal to 1, so when all the inputs are 1, the output of second NAND gate will be equal to 0. So since the fourth NAND gate one of the input is 0, Q bar will become 1 and Q will become 0. So for 0 input you will be getting 0 output. So for D is equal to 0 input, you will be getting 0 output. Similarly, whenever D is equal to 1, that means S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. So if you observe the operation of the 4 NAND gates, you will be getting the output. So since for the first NAND gate both the inputs are 1s, output will be equal to 0. Similarly for the second NAND gate, since one of the input is 0, output will be equal to 1. So for the third NAND gate, since one of the input is 0, output will be equal to 1 and Q bar should be equal to 0. That means for D1, what output you are getting? You are getting the output is equal to 1. Okay, so whatever the D input that you are applying at the input of D flip-flop, that will be reflected in the output. That's why you can write down the expression for D flip-flop as Qn plus 1 is equal to D. Qn plus 1 is equal to D. This is the expression for the D flip-flop, and this is the logic circuit of D flip-flop. Next we will see again, we have already seen the operation of D flip-flop when clock is low. When clock is low, what happens? Irrespective of the D input, the output remains in its previous state. When clock is 0, irrespective of its previous input, irrespective of D input, the output remains in its previous state only, because the flip-flop is not enabled whenever clock is equal to 0. So when clock is equal to 0, irrespective of the D input, Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn only. Whatever the previous output is there, that will be equal to the present output whenever clock is low. And whenever clock is high, clock is high, and I am considering the D input as 0, and I am considering the D input as 0. So what will happen? So D0 means S0 and R1. D0 means S is equal to 0 and R is equal to 1. So when S is equal to 0, output of first NAND gate will be equal to 1, and output of second NAND gate will be equal to 0. So since output one of the input of fourth NAND gate is 0, output Q bar will be equal to 1, and hence Q will be equal to 0. So for D is equal to 0, you will be getting the output Q is equal to 0. So the output Q becomes low, flip flop is said to be in reset state. The output Q becomes low, flip flop is said to be in reset state. Even you can observe here, when D is equal to 0, S is equal to 0, and R is equal to 1. So R is equal to 1 means for SR flip flop, when R is equal to 1 and S is equal to 0, you are resetting the flip flop. That means making the output to be equal to 0. Making the output to be equal to 0. That means when 0 is applied, you will be getting the output as 1. Sorry, you will be getting the output as 0, which is equal to the D input. And when clock is high and data input is high, that means the other condition, when D is equal to 1, that means S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0. When S is equal to 1, you are setting the flip flop so that the output will become 1. Making the output of the flip flop to be equal to 1 is nothing but setting the flip flop. So when S is equal to 1 and R is equal to 0, the output of the SR flip flop will be equal to 1. So that means whenever D is equal to 1, you will be getting the output. You will be getting the output also equal to 1, which is nothing but the input. So whenever the output Q becomes high whenever clock is and the input is high, so flip flop is said to be in set state. Flip flop is said to be in set state. Next, this is the timing diagram of a D flip flop. If you observe the clock signal, this is the clock signal I am applying, and this is 0. Let us assume this is 0 and this is 1 1 0 0 0. Okay, so since previously or initially the output of D flip flop is resetted, that means 0. Output of D flip flop is 0 and D input is also 0, and whenever first clock pulse is applied, first this is I am considering sorry 0 1 1 0 0 0, and since let us consider the clock as positive level triggering. Let us consider the clock as positive level triggering. So this is the meaning of positive level triggering. Okay, so in this case, during this instant of time, since the D input is 1, output becomes 1. In this case, output becomes 1, and this 1 will be continued until the next clock pulse is applied. But whenever the next clock pulse is applied, D input is becoming 0. So before application of the second clock pulse, since D input is 0, output becomes 0 again at this instant of time. Okay, and that will be continued until next clock pulse is applied. So whenever next clock pulse is applied, at that instant of time, since the D input is 0, again that same D input is followed. Okay, so this is the explanation of timing diagram of a D flip flop. So now here I am considering positive level triggering clock, which is applied to the D flip flop. So positive level triggering means whenever the clock pulse is high, during the time interval of high clock pulse, the whatever the input changes are there at those durations of time, all those will be reflected in the output. So whatever the input is there, that will be reflected in the output during that instance of time. So for the three positive level clock pulses, For the first clock pulse, since the input is high, output is changing its state from 0 to 1, and that will be continued. And for the second clock pulse, at that instant of time, since the D input is becoming 0, output also becomes 0. And for the third clock pulse, since the D input is 0, and that 0 will be continued further. So this is nothing but the timing diagram of a D flip flop or delay flip flop. So whatever the input is there, that will be followed at the output of D flip flop as and when clock pulse is available. Next, we will also see something about T flip flop. T stands for toggle flip flop. So T flip flop is a modified version of JK flip flop in which T is equal to J is equal to K. In which T is equal to J is equal to K. So T flip flop is again the modified version of J and K flip flop. So with the help of JK flip flop, you can able to implement T flip flop circuit. By satisfying this condition, like T is equal to J is equal to K. That means both J and K inputs are shorted together and applied as one input, and that input you are calling it as toggle input. Okay, so for the realization of T flip flop with the help of JK flip flop, what you have to do, you have to short the two input terminals of JK flip flop, that is J and K. Both J and K inputs are shorted together and applied as one input, and that input you are calling it as T flip flop. That input you are calling it as T input, which you are calling it as toggle input. So since J and K inputs are shorted, that means if T is equal to 0, that means J and K inputs are zeros. Correspondingly, you will be getting the output. And when T is equal to 1, correspondingly J and K inputs are 1, and correspondingly you will be getting the outputs for corresponding JK flip flop. So this is simple circuit diagram of a T flip flop in which JK inputs are shorted together and applied as one input, and that one input you are calling it as toggle input. So this is the internal circuit diagram of toggle flip flop, where J and K inputs are shorted together and applied as one input, and that one input is called toggle input. Okay. We will see the operation of this whenever T is equal to 0. Whenever T is equal to 0, that means here J is equal to 0 and K is equal to also 0. So since one of the inputs of the first two NAND gates are zeros, output becomes 1. So whenever output is becoming 1, for the third and fourth NAND gates, the one of the inputs happens to be 1 and 1, so it depends upon the previous output. So if Q is equal to 0, let us say, that 0 will be available at one of the input of fourth NAND gate, so that output becomes 1. Since this 1 is available at the one of the input of third NAND gate, output becomes 0. That means if T is equal to 0, Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn itself. That means whatever the previous output is there, that will be again followed when T is equal to 0. So for T is equal to 0 input, Qn plus 1 will be equal to Qn. Similarly, if 1 is available at input at the previous output, that means 1 is here and 0 will be here, and 0 will be available here. So for 0 1 combination, output the third NAND gate output will be equal to 1 only. That means previously it is 1 and present output is also 1. So whatever the previous output is there, that will be again followed at the present output when T is equal to 0. So when T is equal to 0, the present output will be equal to the previous output. When T is equal to 0, the present output will be equal to the previous output. And if you observe the next value of T, when T is equal to 1, that means J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1. So when J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, what will be the output? Qn plus 1 is equal to what? Qn bar. You have already seen the operation of JK flip flop. For J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1 combination, the present output will be equal to the complement of the previous output. The present output will be equal to the complement of the previous output. So this will be the output of T flip flop when T is equal to 1. So T stands for toggle. T stands for toggle. So when T is equal to 0, present output follows the previous output, and when T is equal to 1, the present output toggles. What do you mean by toggling? If previous output is 0, then present output should be equal to 1. If previous output is 1, then present output should be equal to 0. That means Qn plus 1 should be equal to Qn bar. Qn plus 1 should be equal to Qn bar. That means present output state should be equal to complement of the previous output. Present output state should be equal to complement of the previous output. That's why the naming for the flip-flop is given as toggle flip-flop. Naming for the flip-flop is given as toggle flip-flop. That means whenever the input T, toggle input is high, then the output toggles. Toggles means present output will be equal to the complement of the previous output. Present output will be equal to the complement of the previous output. So this is the operation of T flip-flop. This is the operation of T flip-flop for different input combinations, that is T is equal to 0 and T is equal to 1. So when T is equal to 0, that means J is equal to 0 and K is equal to 0, so that PQN plus 1 will be equal to Qn you will be getting. And when T is equal to 1, that is J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, then Qn plus 1 you will be getting it as Qn bar. Okay, so T flip-flops, when clock is low, there is no change in the output. When clock is low, there is no change in the output, and when clock is high, and in that when T is equal to 0 is applied, then Qn plus 1 will be equal to Qn, and when T is equal to 1 is applied, then Qn plus 1 will be equal to Qn bar. It is not Qn, it is Qn bar. You have to correct this. Okay, that is the meaning of toggle. So when toggle input is high, then the output toggles. What do you mean by toggling the output? This condition has to be satisfied. That means Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn bar. Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn bar. So this is the condition for toggling the output of any flip-flop. So for T flip-flop, whenever clock is high and when T is equal to 0 is applied, then present output will be equal to the previous output. And when clock is high and if T is equal to 1 is applied, then present output will be equal to complement of the previous output. So Qn plus 1 will be equal to Qn bar. So this is the operation of T flip-flop when clock is low and when clock is high. And this is the symbol of logic symbol of T flip-flop. You'll be having T input, clock input, and normal outputs or complementary outputs. If one output is Q, then the other output is Q bar. So you can describe the operation of T flip-flop with respect to its truth table as well. When inputs for the T flip-flop will be clock and toggle input, and outputs will be Qn plus 1 and Qn plus 1 bar. So when clock is equal to 0, that means the flip-flop is not enabled, so that irrespective of the T inputs, the present output will be equal to previous output. Irrespective of the previous input, irrespective of the present input, the present output will be equal to its previous output. That is no change. If clock is not applied, this is true for any flip-flop. This is true irrespective of the flip-flop. When clock is 0, irrespective of the inputs of the flip-flop, the present output of any flip-flop should be equal to its previous output. There will be no change in the present output. There will be no change in the output of the flip-flop as long as clock is not applied. And when clock is applied, and depending upon the inputs, the output will be changing. So when clock is applied and when toggle input is 0, again in that case also the present output will be equal to the previous output. Qn plus 1 will be equal to Qn, no change in the output. And when T is equal to 1 and when clock is equal to 1, then what will happen? The present output will be equal to complement of the previous output. The present output will be equal to complement of the previous output, that is Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn bar. That is the meaning of toggle. change to opposite state. So this is the logic symbol and truth table of T flip-flop, toggle flip-flop. And this is the timing diagram. In the similar manner that we have seen for D flip-flop, you can also analyze the same. Here 3 clock pulses are applied. Level again I am considering positive level triggering. Again I am considering positive. This is the first clock pulse, second clock pulse and third clock pulse. Let us say this is 0, 1, 1. This will be 0, 0, 1, 0 and so on. So whenever first clock pulse is applied, the since T input is 1, output is changing its state from 0 to 1. Okay, so since T is equal to 1 at that instant of time, since previous output is 0, it will be changing its state from logic 0 to logic 1. So if previously 0, it will become 1 because T is equal to 1. And when the next clock pulse is applied, when the second clock pulse is applied, T is becoming again 0. So when T is equal to 0, what will be the status of output? It follows the previous output. So previous output is 1, that will be followed for the second clock pulse. And when the third clock pulse is applied, the T input is changing from 0 to 1. That means whenever T is equal to 1, what will happen? The output toggles. Previously the output is 1, now the output becomes 0. Now the output becomes 0. So this is the basic operation of toggle flip-flop with the help of timing diagram, which involves clock pulses and T inputs. So for different T inputs and clock pulses, you can able to observe the output of T flip-flop. Next we will move on to the quiz. The flip-flop which eliminates the racing condition effectively is what? JK flip-flop. And the preset and clear data inputs are also called as asynchronous inputs. The preset and clear inputs are also called as asynchronous inputs. Overall summary, we have discussed about preset and clear and racing condition, master switch, JK flip-flop and D and T flip-flops. Next we will also see the applications of flip-flops. A group of flip-flops is a register suitable to store the binary information. So flip-flops are mainly used for the construction of registers which are used to store the binary information. So flip-flops are used in counters, are used as latches. D flip-flop is used as delay flip-flop, and further applications are RS flip-flop is used as a latch and also a bistable multi-vibrator. And JK flip-flops can be used to build a counter, a circuit that counts the number of clock pulses. So if you want to count the number of clock pulses, or if you want to count the number of events, okay, and then JK flip-flop is used. JK master slave flip-flop is used as the main counting device. Next, further the applications of registers. Time delay in serial out shift register. The serial in serial out shift register can be used to provide a time delay from input to output. So whenever if you want to introduce a delay in any digital circuit, you can employ this serial in serial out shift register, in which the input data will be applied serially and you are taking the output also serially, bit by bit. You are applying the input bit by bit, one bit at a time, and you are also taking the output one bit at a time, so that in between a delay will be introduced in between the input and output, so that a time delays can be produced with the help of serial in serial out shift register. A time delay can be produced with the help of serial in serial out shift registers. And if you observe serial to parallel and parallel to serial data converters, that means if you want to convert the serial data into parallel data and then parallel data to serial data, which is mainly used in communication point of view. Okay, so in the digital system, by using universal shift register, serial data transmission can be converted into parallel data transmission. Serial data transmission can be converted into parallel data transmission. So the transmission of data from serial to parallel or parallel to serial is very much useful in digital communication system. So while transferring the data from transmitter to receiver, you should have the process of converting serial data to parallel data and again parallel data to serial data. So all those things can be done with the help of serial to parallel and parallel to serial data converters. Okay, and again these serial to parallel and parallel to serial are nothing but shift registers. Okay, so again with the help of flip-flops only you can able to implement all these serial to parallel and parallel to parallel to serial data converters. Again pick another example is keyboard encoder. It is a good example of the application of a shift register, and which is used as a ring counter, in conjunction with other devices. And if you observe the ring counter, when the output of a shift register is connected back to the serial input, then it is a ring counter. That means the output of the last flip-flop is connected as input to the first flip-flop, so that a ring will be formed which will be counting the number of clock pulses. Okay, so this is something about the applications of flip-flops and registers. The flip-flop which eliminates the racing condition effectively will be JK flip-flop. So race around condition can be avoided. Racing problem can be avoided in JK flip-flop. That means racing problem is available in RS flip-flop, and that's why we are moving from RS flip-flop to JK flip-flop. What do you mean by racing problem? When R is equal to 1 and S is equal to 1, the output Qn plus 1 is undefined. The output Qn plus 1 will be undefined. This is called racing problem, and in order to avoid this racing problem, we are moving from RS flip-flop to JK flip-flop. That means whenever J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1, the output is not defined. The output is defined, and the output is what? Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn bar. Qn plus 1 is equal to Qn bar. That means you are somehow defining the output of the JK flip-flop for J is equal to 1 and K is equal to 1 combination. So that's why JK flip-flop is the flip-flop which eliminates the racing condition effectively. So the answer will be JK flip-flop. Next, the preset and clear data inputs are also called as asynchronous inputs. So asynchronous inputs are very important in digital circuits, because it is not possible to set or reset individual flip-flops independently, because if you observe in a computer, more than lakhs of flip-flops will be available, and it is not possible to individually set or reset each and every flip-flop. That's why preset and clear inputs are used to set or reset all the flip-flops at a time asynchronously. So these preset and clear inputs are independent of the application of clock signal, as well as independent of the inputs that are applied to the each and every flip-flop. So that's why these preset and clear inputs are called asynchronous inputs. They are not in synchronization with the clock signal. That's why preset and clear inputs are called asynchronous inputs. So the option for the second question will be asynchronous. Preset and clear data inputs are also called as asynchronous inputs. Overall summary, we have discussed about master slave JK flip-flop, which will be eliminating the race around condition or race around problem, and also delay and toggle flip-flops, and also we have seen the applications of flip-flops and registers, So this completes this lecture. In this lecture we have mainly discussed about master slave JK flip-flop, which will be eliminating the race around problem, and also the other types of flip-flops, that is delay flip-flop and toggle flip-flop. And if you observe, delay flip-flop and toggle flip-flops are nothing but the subsets of JK flip-flop, and that's why JK flip-flop is called universal flip-flop, through which you can able to implement any other flip-flop like SR flip-flop, delay flip-flop, toggle flip-flop. All the three can be implemented or realized with the help of JK flip-flop. And the further topics we'll be discussing it in the next class. Thank you for listening.